Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I finally got here. Massive apologies. I was sitting there thinking, what's going on? I've gone live, and I'm sitting there talking to myself, and there's zero views, and I'm like, okay, usually it kicks in a little bit by now. And then I realised halfway through about my third or fourth sentence that I'd gone live on Football Inc., which is a show starting at 1 p.m. today, rather than here. And so I've had to delete that stream before anyone gets a chance to see the ridiculousness of me going, oh, welcome back, everybody. And then, oh no, what have I done? I'm on the wrong stream. Anyway, sorry about all that. I hope you're all happy and healthy, doing the things you love. Chris must have seen it. Absolute bozo from Bozoville, USA. What's going on, people? How are you? Happy and healthy, I hope. Keeping yourselves out of trouble. I've got up this morning with a spring in my step. And, we didn't get the clean sheet. But 3 wins and a draw and a loss from 5. Better than most, I think, would have probably predicted. Brighton away, toughest performance. I think the Brighton away is one of the toughest places to go. They have brilliant balance. And the star players star played. That Ayari's very good as well. That, what's his name? Rutter, also very good. Very, very good team, aren't they? I don't know where they find these gems from, but they're very, very balanced, very accomplished. Good-looking geezer who's in charge over there. And it is difficult place to play. By the way, not just a difficult place for Tottenham to go. They haven't lost to any of the big 6 since the start of last season at their gaff. They've beaten all of them apart from Arsenal and Tottenham. Obviously, they beat Tottenham last season, but they've beaten everybody. The only teams that haven't beaten them, I should say, in the top 6 are Arsenal and Tottenham. And Tottenham this season after yesterday's performance. So very, very difficult place to go. And we managed to get through it. Really good start from Tottenham. Obviously, then we get picked off. We'll go through all the details. But I don't want to go through the game like in massive detail. I want to talk more about the takeaways than the actual specifics, because I'm sure everyone's familiar with the specifics. But and you know what the interesting thing is, guys? The interesting thing, or maybe it's a frustrating thing, is that Thomas Frank, he takes away any of the fun of having your own opinion, because he kind of says everything that you were going to say before you knew you were going to say it. You know, I heard someone comment on a political figure recently, and they said the reason I love that person is because they always say everything you were going to say, everything that you feel before you know you felt it. And I think Thomas Frank, it's not like he's telling me how to feel. It's like I know exactly what he means, and I know how I feel. And then before I have a chance to say it, he's saying it. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant in that he's honest, he's sincere, and that you see him I think we all see on the same wavelength, right? Everything that he says, there's very few things that he says that I see anyone going, well, he's wrong about that, or I completely disagree about that. He calls out the mistakes. He doesn't necessarily just defend the players for the defending them's sake, but he does it in a way which is convivial to longer term relationships. He does analyze. He's humble. He recognizes where we are. He says everything that you want to say without an attitude, without an ego, without an agenda. And it just feels like he's just sincerity emanates from the guy. And I don't know if that will change, but on the one hand, it's brilliant because you get to you get a genuine insight into how he's seeing the game. And also, you get to be able to sort of just feel reassured that if you feel the same way he does, which I do, then it's not like you're sitting there screaming, going, why aren't you doing this or why aren't you doing that? If you generally feel the same way as your manager, then you know that they know more than you. You know that they're employed because they're brilliant at what they do. And therefore, trust the process, trust the guy, trust him to get it right. Because it's one thing to have a manager where you just vehemently disagree with their style, their tactics, their approach. But if you generally are on board his wavelength, then kind of go, all right, okay, cool. I trust you because you see that you know them better, you know the game better, you know the players better, and you know what you're doing. And I think that is a really, really, it's a key thing that might actually unify the fan base a little bit more than we've actually figured out how to do in the last, well, God knows how long, however many years. One of the divisive figures is out of the club. Right. I mean, like I said, I don't see the same way as a lot of people do on Daniel Levy. I think he's been a very good, not just a good chairman, a very good chairman for the most part. And those people that say that he wasn't, they're comparing him to either teams that have a different set of rules, different set of resources, or they're comparing him to the very best in Liverpool, right? The very, very best, the epitome of perfection almost in strategy. And so if you're not perfect, then you're not good enough. And so I don't get on board that sort of wavelength. But he's gone. He's out the way, at least visibly out of the way. So that's one divisive element gone. But it's football, right? So there's always going to be passion. There's always going to be arguments. There's always going to be emotions. And there's always going to be, tantrums and waves of glass heart, minutes, moments, sort of segments of the fan base that are going to, go whichever way the wind is blowing. And right now, everything looks good. Everything generally looks pretty optimistic, right? We've got potentially new ambitious versions of the same owners, right? A prettier looking pig, if you like. You've got a manager that says what you want to hear, seems to be resonating not only with the fans, but also with the players, clearly. You've got a league table that looks healthy, a Champions League table that looks healthy. What's there to be unhappy about? Well, those that are unhappy will still point out that the team isn't perfect yet, or whatever, and that's fine, right? Everyone's got to moan about something. Well, not even moan necessarily, just speak about both sides of the coin. Maybe moan's the wrong word, because I obviously look at the team and think that it's still imbalanced, and we still need a lot of improvement, and that's the good thing, by the way. That's a good thing. It's like when you finally finish your jigsaw puzzle. Are you happy? Maybe you're happy that you finished it, or when you finish reading a good book, and then you've lost your friend, like the thing that's kept you company every night before bed for the last however long. Like, it's nice to get to the end of something, but it's also like, then what's next, right? And so Tottenham will always need to improve, and it's nice that we don't have we're imperfect in the progress. But Thomas Frank says things that the fans are on board with. I don't see anybody moaning. Even on Twitter, I see very few people. I think people are moaning about individual things now, like Vicario's not good enough. Let me know if you think that. Like, I personally don't think he's good enough for what we are trying to achieve. But Thomas Frank even came out and said it yesterday. Like, Vic could have done better. But he also caveated it with, I told him that, and I'm also kind of polish that comment down with a little bit of sanding by saying he's been very good for us. He's had a good season so far. Obviously, these things happen, but generally he's been very good. But he could have done better with that, and that's a good way of saying it, isn't it? That's a nice way, in the moment, under the camera, with the mic in front of you, to say, yeah, it was a mistake. The goalkeeping error that let them get 2-0 up. He also said the same thing about, I think he said it, or was it just the article I read that said it? I think it was just the article I read that said it, about Odobert. Odobert gave the ball away for the first goal. He was out of position as well. And obviously Berghvall gave the ball away for the second goal. Right? Berghvall had a much better second half, by the way. Whatever was said in the halftime team talk just reorganised them. Because it was like 2-0 and we had all the possession from the moment that they scored their second goal until basically we scored our second goal. It was 99% Tottenham, or it wasn't 99%, but like the momentumometer was basically all Tottenham. And getting that first goal back, kudos again, double assist, 4 assists now in 5 games in the Prem. Not bad. And some people want to moan about him, saying he holds on to the ball too long. He doesn't do anything. And what game are you watching? What are we doing here? Anyway, I've completely reneged to say hello to the chat, and also I've forgotten to tell you guys that today's sponsor is. I haven't got my banner up either. For goodness sake, there you go. Today's sponsor is, of course, the one of the people at okjersey.com. There is the URL. There's the QR code. Go and get yourself a couple of replica shirts. Cheap as chips, 15, 18 pounds, something like that. With all your badges, all your names, your numbers, your retro shirts, your current team shirts, not just Tottenham shirts, whatever shirts you want. And the price is ridiculously good. And on top of that, you get an 8% discount if you use code Sean, SEAN, at checkout. Please go if you're looking for a jersey. That's the place to get them. Thank you very much. OK Jersey. Also, guys, if you are interested, I really would appreciate it if you could help me out. If you do listen to podcasts, if you do listen to Joe Rogan's or whoever's, the Comedy Central, whatever, then check out Spurs Talk Show. Just search for Spurs Talk Show, or the link is in the description, and get us my nails are filthy from the dog walk, and get us a follow over there, and a 5-star review would be awesome. Look at my nails from throwing the ball for Bugsy. Disgusting, absolutely horrendous. Bugsy says hello, by the way. Bugsy says hello. Let's say hello to the chat, shall we? See what's crack-a-lacking in the chat, and we'll get back into the show. Morning, Howard. Morning, chat. Morning, Sean. Not a bad result yesterday. If you can't win the game, don't lose it. So a draw was good, although I think Xavi starting would have been a better choice. Do you know what, mate? I do too. But I think there was more at play there than just, picking the best 11. I think there might have been just a little bit of maybe a sort of managerial man management kind of idea here. Let's mix things up. Unpredictability. What's the benefit of that? Well, look, Brighton will have practiced assuming that Xavi was either going to start off the left or start in the 10, and then he didn't. So you could make the argument, a lot of the kind of preamble work that the other team would have put in on their training ground to any SWOT analysis would have ended up being a little bit futile because the team didn't have the player in it that they assumed would be in it. And I think it also made Xavi Simmons come on hungry with a point to prove. And my God, did he prove it, right? He changed the game in the second half. Fresh legs into tired legs as well, I think is also a valid consideration here. Because, look, Xavi Simmons, he did have a little bit of a pre-season, but certainly not to the same degree as Tottenham did and most of the players did. And so, I think if you're going to play him in the 10 from the start against Belieber came off. That was big. That was a big deal as well, by the way. But people forget that Tottenham grew into the game in terms of confidence and competence after Belieber exited. He's such a wonderful player. He's a big fucking unit, isn't he, as well? But for me, mate, I just think that where's your comment gone? There it is. Xavi starting would have been fine with me, and I'd love to see him in the 10. I think it's almost, for me, it's settled now. Where do we play him? I think at times, yes, you can play him off the left, but I think he has to play in the 10, and Polinia has to play in the 6. And so it makes it pretty awkward, doesn't it? But Berghvall, Sarr, Bissouma, Gray, and Bentancur can squabble it out for one position, if I'm entirely honest. It's going to be difficult, but we're overloaded with 8s of around a similar sort of quality. I don't think Berghvall is a 10, or I think he got so much better in the second half. Whatever was said to him, calm down, because you're running around like a Jack Russell. I mean, Pape Sarr must have felt a little bit wounded because he hasn't done anything wrong. Morning to you again, though, AJ. John Howard thought Odobert was okay yesterday. Definitely earned another crack. I think Odobert's first instinct is to pass the ball. He receives it. He drops into nice little pockets of space. He's clever. He's a clever player. But when he receives it, he wants to give it back or give it to someone else immediately, do triangles, when it should really be him that's doing some of the kind of heavy lifting with regards creating space with the ball. If you see him doing similar things to Kudus, but I don't think they're the similar type. I don't think they're the same. I think Kudus can do what he can do because he's got unbelievable starting speed, acceleration. He's got wonderful close control, and he's got upper body strength of like a boxer. He's a cruiserweight, isn't he? Odobert's not that type of player. Odobert's more of like an Andreas Skov Olsen, just a weaker version of him, but sort of good with the feet, but light, not not like going to get pushed over by a strong breeze, not like Brian Hill like, but just doesn't have that physicality to get involved in duels. And so I think as a consequence of that, I think he tries to manipulate the game in different ways. And I think he did really well. But obviously the beneficiary of that was having Udogie behind him. And Udogie was just sensational. Before, forward and defensively. A lot of people fell asleep on Destiny Udogie thinking that he was yesterday's guy or that he's not good. He was brilliant. He's always been brilliant. He has bad days. He's had injury problems. Everyone has a bad day from time to time. But if you can keep him fit, that option, it allows you to do something different in the left wing until you go and get a left winger in January. And if you can go and get, listen, I don't think it will ever happen, but if you could go and get a Semenyo, and Semenyo would be like 80 million quid. And I'd pay it, by the way, because I think he really is that good. I mean, you could justify it by saying he's 60% of the cost of Florian Wirtz, who yet again has had an absolute stinker. I did say I think there'll be stinkers on the cards. Anyway, let's see who's in the house as well. Rain, big up to you, mate. Member of the show. Sean is clearly putting his face on. Bit of lippy, bit of rouge. That's the pig I've been talking about. Lipstick on a pig. It's me. Big up to you, Rain. It's good chatting to you the other day, mate. Or filling up his massive glass. Not yet. That's probably why I had the bozo moment with Football Inc. Because I haven't had any alcohol. It's sitting there waiting to go, but it's not midday yet. I can't do it before midday. It's crazy. Morning, everybody. Liked the F-bomb in the video. Oh, did you see it? Did you, Chris? No! The horror. We know you're not AI, Sean, and this is why we love you. I appreciate you, Scott Spur. Appreciate you, mate. Morning, everybody. Morning. Yeah, I was like, get out, delete. What we doing here? Morning, everybody. Berghvall is better in the 8, says AJ. I don't disagree. He's not a 10. He's certainly not a 6. Definitely not a 6. I think he just needs to calm. Like, I think Thomas Frank again. This is what kind of spoils it, right? Like, he's saying the things before you realise it. Before you realise, you kind of you know what the kind of problem is, but you haven't really quite landed on it yet. And then he says the words out loud that you've been thinking, but didn't realise that that's what you were thinking. Excuse me. Rhinitis killing me. Squad was amazing yesterday, says Rekshawn. Good to see you, mate. Or miss. Funny how some fans still see Brighton, Palace and Bournemouth as the teams they were a few years back. Yeah, it's true. Palace are third in the table, aren't they? Still undefeated, is that right? No, they've lost one game, haven't they? Have a look at the table in a minute. Happy Sunday, Frank the Tank. Morning, Danny Boy. Oh, we've got some super stickers as well. Oscar's in the house. Big up to you, Oscar. Very generous, my man. Very, very generous indeed, buddy. Very generous indeed. 1 second, guys. Let's start the super sticker train of doom. Choo-choo. To you, Oscar. Thank you so much, mate. Very, very nice and appreciative. I am very appreciative and very generous of you. And Ulrika Johnson, straight out of the bath over in Australia, drying her bits. Get the G&T ready. We're going to pick you up on the super sticker train. Thank you very much to you. Choo-choo to you, Ulrika. Good evening, Mashina Joe. How you doing, mate? How you doing, buddy? Hope you're okay. My Croatian-Australian friend. A prettier looking pig, 100%. That's all it is, James. A prettier looking pig. For now. But we'll see what happens in January, right? In January, either turns out, what is it that Iron Drew says in a Scottish accent? A Scottish accent. You got to kiss a few frogs to find your princess or something. You got to kiss a few frogs. I can't do the Scottish accent. I can't do many accents, to be honest. Can't do many. Daniel Levy is gone. This is the happiest I've been as a Spurs fan, says LV3. I was happier when he left than I was at the parade. Jesus Christ. I never know which LV3 this is. Because there's either a couple of you out there that have the same name and the same icon, and one of you's very nice, and the other one's very can be a bit of a donut. Or it's the same person who's a little bit kind of, multiple personality. Don't know. But either way, you were happier that he left than when we had the parade. LV3, man. What are we doing here? What are we doing here, bro? What are we doing here? Ridiculous. I'm wondering how people feel about Frank's assessment of Udogie's performance. What did he say about it? In fact, I've got some. I'm not sure if these are going to get me completely smashed from content strikes, but copyright strikes. But let's have a look. See if I can pull this up. There's a 3-minute video here. Let me know if you can hear this, please, in the chat.
Thomas, thanks for joining us. Ended 2-2, came from 2-0 down. What were your thoughts on the performance?
Did you hear that?
I think the headline for me is mentality. I said to the players before the game, a game like this is pure mentality. Of course, we need all the tactical structure, details, all that. But to really want to achieve something, you need to be so strong here. When you go away after the back end of a Champions League game, that demands everything from you. And then we decided to really test ourselves by getting down 2-0. But just the way we started the game, wow. Coming away from home against Brighton, good team, and we just completely dominating them. And then out of nowhere, boom, they scored a goal where we can do a bit better, but also credit them, and it's like this margin of offside. And I actually think we keep going. And then out of nowhere, they scored the second one where, of course, I said it before, Vic need to do better, but it's been so good for us. It can happen, so we know that. A good finish. But the way we just kept going and actually control that game more or less from start to end, getting the 2 goals, that I think is very impressive. So the mentality and the physicality of this team looks strong, intense. I thought that was us.
Sometimes stats can tell a little bit of a story. And one stat I'll throw at you is we had 44 touches in their box to their 17.
44, yeah. But I think that's a fantastic stat. And I don't even know the crossing stat was the same. So you can just see we were up there. And the fight, sometimes in a game like this, you score 4 goals because 2 of the cross just a little bit better, or we just run a little bit more clever, or a little bit more determined, or whatever it is. Today we didn't get the benefit of it, but I'm a big believer if you're consistent in our messages, if you keep doing the right thing, some games will just be fantastic. But I think overall, actually it's maybe the best game so far in the season.
Yeah, and someone actually messaged me just before Richie scored. And I actually replied, I said, I can't believe we're not winning, let alone 2-0 down. So, but to come from 2-0 down, to get that point, keeps the momentum going, Thomas, doesn't it?
Yeah, I agree. And I think, I can't remember all the interviews. Last year we were here and we lost 3-2 after 2-0 up. Now it's the other way around. We 2-0 down and get 2-2 in a very difficult place. Away game after the European. I think it just shows a lot about this group of players.
Yeah,
I would have loved to win. Sometimes you need to take a good point and then move on.
Just before I let you go, a couple of players who weren't involved today, Ben and Randall. Any information on them?
Kolomoani got a dead leg. Unfortunately, they kept him out of this. He actually been struggling with the last week. So, but it was just too much now. Hopefully available for Wednesday. Ben got a slight twist to the knee. Shouldn't be anything serious. Also, hopefully available for Wednesday.
Yeah, sensational stuff. Like he just says. He says it like he says everything you want to hear, right? He's very honest, and I think he's right. First of all, to say, I'm not sure if actually he said it in there or whether he said it in a different interview I saw, a more extended version. But he said, the game should have had a winner, and he was biased, but he said it should have been us, and I agree. I think that had Xavi Simmons taken that chance when he first comes on, and I think he had 3 chances, didn't he? Xavi Simmons, 3 shots, 2 of them went wide. One of them he caught with the outside of his boot and it fizzled out to the right of the post. The next one he sort of jinks inside, starts left, comes inside, and then has that little pot shot, and it's a great save down low to Verbruggen's left. And I think he might have had a third shot as well, but I can't remember that clearly. But game changer, absolute game changer when he came on, absolute game changer. In fact, I've got another clip here from him talking about Xavi Simmons. Let's have a little listen to this as well, and then we'll come back to the chat. How do I do this? How do I open this back? There you go. Let's go.
I think Xavi came in and did exactly what we thought he could do in that 10 position. And I think he, of course, he had a good preseason and he played 2 games in Germany and all that, but he's still coming into a team and all that. And I think on any other day, you score a goal. Got a great finish on the first one, great save from Verbruggen. And the other one, he missed times. And I think actually maybe he could have got a assist to Richie, where Lucas takes the ball. He doesn't see him. So, yeah. I think he can play both. I'm in a, I think he can easily play the left winger that can go more inside. I also think he'd have the right position to sometimes the playmakers, they drift to the side because there's no space in the middle. So I think he can do that. But 10, obviously, he can play that as well.
A bit more. Talking about the resilience. Oh, cut off anyway. Waiting for the answer. Denied. Yeah, look, I mean, I agree. I think he can play in both. But if you're going to have, I would have liked to have seen Xavi start, if he was going to start off the left, I would have liked to have seen him with Destiny Udogie, because I think that, I said this before, Jed Spence is a phenomenal defensive fullback. He's phenomenal. One of the best in the league. No question about it. One-on-ones, drawing people, showing that just enough. Like, he doesn't show people entirely down the outside that want to cut in, because then they'll beat you down the outside if they're fast enough. And people like Mo Salah and Saka can do it on the outside. But he shows them just enough in real time, sort of jinking back and sort of juking backwards, but not getting sort of too far one side, but showing just enough, that half a yard to convince them to cut in onto his stronger side. It's such a brilliant skill set to have. He's been one of the best one-on-one defensive tacklers. But I think the consequence of doing all those things in a position that you're not necessarily that comfortable in generally, I think that then that sort of prevents you from being able to do the rest of your game to the highest level, which is maybe thinking about other people, relationships, chemistry, getting forward. And if your left winger also wants to cut in and you want to cut in as well, then you end up very narrow on your left and very, very extreme on your right. And again, that can become predictable. The consequence of putting Jed Spence on the right-hand side is that we don't know whether or not he will have that relationship with Mohamed Kudus that Pedro Porro has clearly forged early doors. And so when we saw him, and I'll grant it's only sort of 10, 15, 20 minutes here and there, I would make the argument, I haven't seen Jed Spence put in a good, as anywhere near as good a shift on his on the right-hand side when he's played for a Tottenham team as he does on the left. And I think we should nurture what he's got on the left, make him spend a lot of time on the training ground just working with his left foot until it gets... What was it? Was it George Best? Was it? I forget who it was. Someone at Manchester United back in the day. Someone. I forget who it was. Back in the 60s or 70s. Was very one-footed. And then the manager at the time said to him, "You're not allowed to touch the ball with your strong foot." And in the end, he was doing keepy-uppies and just sort of working with his left foot or his right foot, whichever one it was, so much so that by the end, within about a year, his weaker foot was now his stronger foot. And I'm not suggesting that we go to that sort of level, but if you can develop Jed Spence to be as confident on his left foot going forward, but then still maintain that strength in his defensive capabilities, showing people on the inside, I think you could develop him into being one of the best left backs in the game. And there's not even a stretch to say he has the potential to be one of the top 4 or 5 left backs in world football if he carries on but improves himself with the ball going forward. And if that to happen, he needs to work on his left foot. I think that you play him on the right hand side, you lose his strengths in his ability to show people onto the. If you're asking people that are right footed that are playing on the left wing and they want to cut in as well, similar to what happens on the right wing with the left footers, then you're going to lose his strength of being able to show people onto his strong side and to smash them and put them in his pocket. But I haven't seen enough of him going forward. So I don't think his strengths are amplified yet. I don't think his weaknesses are amplified on the right, but you do absolutely sort of cannibalize his strengths by putting him on the right. So I would make the argument at this stage, and it's still early in the season, but I would make the argument you're better off keeping him on the left and developing his left foot and convincing him, teaching him, getting him confident in the art of getting forward and overlapping on the left and crossing the ball in that side. And if so doing, I think you have a top draw left back to compete with Destiny Udogie, who are different styles of left backs. And then Tottenham, you could make the argument, don't need to go and get another fullback. They need to go and get a right back to be able to do a little bit more of the defensive, but a bit more of a balanced right back than what Pedro Porro can offer. It makes it a little bit more complicated because you still need, probably, arguably, you might still need a left-sided, left-footed centre-half to do the things that Micky van der Ven can do. And if Micky van der Ven gets injured, then where do you go currently? You're probably going to have to shoehorn either Dragusin over there, Kota Takai over there. I mean, I think Kota Takai, but I'm not sure. I think he's also right-footed. Certainly Dragusin is. Romero's not as good when he's playing on the left. So you know, in an ideal world, I guess what you could do is just go and find one of those players that can play left-sided centre-back or left-back and then let Jed Spence be on the right if necessary. But there's not that many of them around. There was one around named Piero Hincapi, but he went to Arsenal. Trying to find a left-footed, left-sided centre-back that's also a fullback there's not that many of them. There's one called Castello Lucaba that you could go and get from Leipzig. He's very good. And maybe you could also just go and get a left-footed, left-sided player, and then when necessary, if he's that good, you could play Micky van der Ven at left-back or something. But I would make the argument that really what we need, I prefer Jed Spence on the left than I do on the right. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Well, Jed is quite outspoken, and for him to not complain about being on the left says that he enjoys the challenge. Yeah. Jed Spence hardly had a run of games to judge him when he played mostly on the left. Well, I did say that to you. I did say it's all via a small sample size. But when I have seen him, not just this year, but also in previous seasons, previous iterations, when I have seen him on the right, I've never seen him put in as good a shift on the right as I have on the left. So, but I did say he is on a small sample size. Best was good with both from young. So maybe it wasn't him then, Bamboozle. There was a Man United player back in the 60s who was told essentially, you're not allowed to kick the ball with your strong foot. You need to level up on your weak foot, and he did. What's Andy saying? Morning, Shawnee. Richie has to go. We need someone to score from the crosses and corners, not just own goals. 10 minutes for a little drinky poos. 10 minutes for a little drinky poo. Oh, yeah, 3 minutes now. I'll have it when I'm ready. I'm not quite ready for it yet. Smash the likes, people. Smash the likes. Yeah, smash the likes. Do what Ulrika Johnson is saying. Do the business for me. I don't know what likes we're on, but we could be on more. I don't know what subs we're on, but we can be on more. If anyone's watching and hasn't subbed, it's free to do, guys. Just rub the sub, and we appreciate you for doing that. If you haven't already, hit the like button. Notification bell button should be squeezed. Yell at the bell. Yell at the bell. Love that man. Who Thomas Frank. Yeah, 100%. Moani, no injuries in his whole career. Then he comes to Spurs. Yeah, I'd love to. How do you get a dead leg? Is it just from a nasty challenge in training? I don't think I've ever had a dead leg. Or is it just like a muscle injury where someone's clattered into you and then you basically sore? Sounds like it's a bit of a nothing burger of an injury. And who's the Ben he was talking about? Is that Ben Davies? Was that who he was talking about? Ben Davies? Must have been. Whilst not quite Spence's level, Udogie is great one-on-one defender. Yeah, he is, mate. He was brilliant last night. He closed out Minte, apart from Minte for the first goal, right? And he didn't get back. I don't know where Micky van der Ven was, by the way. I watched the replay. I wasn't. Was he completely committed upfield or something? Because he does like to drift in. He does like to drift forward, Micky van der Ven. The amount of time, I mean, he's already scored a goal this season because of him drifting up towards the edge of the box. So Tottenham obviously see him as someone, and why not, by the way? I think every time he's had a shot, he's basically scored, right? He did it against Luton last season, or season before last, was it? 2 seasons ago, when we beat Luton 1-0. He did it against Sheffield United in the 93rd minute, also in that season. Like he likes to get forward, and not just from set pieces as well. He gets forward during games a couple of times, and he can put it in the back of the net. So, and obviously West Ham this season, he did it. So, but you have to be careful then, because if you do get transitioned on from sloppiness, and sloppiness with the ball has been a little bit of a problem for Tottenham this year. We have been sloppy, and yesterday was no difference. Like Berghvall for the second goal, running around like a crazy kid with too much energy on too many Haribos, and then puts a blind pass into a real dangerous area, expecting someone to be there, and there was someone there. It was that Ayari fella. He looks handful, doesn't he? He looks a really good player, that guy. Where do they find these people from? Where do they find them? Yeah, Romero could have cleared off the line if he didn't jog. Yeah, he didn't look like he was. He really sort of charged him, chomping at the bit to get back, did he? Very interesting. Very interesting. Romero was jogging, yeah. A dead leg is an impact injury to the quadriceps. Yeah, there you go. Hot spurious. Hot spurious. MD Booger. Find them in Sweden. Where's that? What's his name? It's Ayari, isn't it? Ayari? Yasin Ayari. He's from Sweden, yeah. Where did they come from? He came from Blackburn. Oh no, wait, sorry. No, he's been over here 2.5 years. He came from AIK back in January of 2023, and then came in and then went straight on loan, or went on loan that summer to Coventry, and then to Brighton back, and then to Blackburn, and then he's now back in Brighton's first team. Good player. Good player. Very, very good player. Excuse me 1 second. I've got to close the door. Someone's talking. I can hear them. Okay. Where did I get to? So we have, let's go for a beer, Fridge's Assassin. What, right now? Right now? All right then. I have a little one. I only have a little one with you, okay? Tiny one. Just to get the cockles warmed up for the day. What a day we've got. What a day. Arsenal City. Let's do it. James in the house. Big up to you, James. It's a very small beer. Very small vodka. My beers are downstairs. I just had a lemonade. Let's move it aside, people. Brighton's recruitment is next level. Well, listen, we've got basically 3/4 of Brentford's team now. You know, and I think we're looking to take. Was it the guy from Brighton? No, it was a guy from somewhere else we've just taken recently. So, what was I going to say? Yeah, no, I think that we're going to be improving on our recruitment. I think it's going to be fun. I think from now on, I think we're going to be seeing, you know, Tottenham. If Tottenham end up buying some 21-year-old kid from Sweden or an 18-year-old or whatever, let's not hate on it. You know, bear in mind that, like, if Tottenham had spent 30 million quid on some kid called Florian Wirtz that came with high profile, but not the same Florian Wirtz or whatever, right? Obviously, if no one knew about him to that degree, think Mathys Tel levels. But if you'd spent 30 million quid and you'd seen what you'd seen from Florian Wirtz so far, the people that hate on Odobert, the people that hate on Tel, the people that hate on some of the players that we've got that haven't really hit the ground running, they'd probably be hating on Florian Wirtz. It takes a little bit of time to acclimate to the hustle and bustle of the Premier League. These guys that are coming across from different leagues, even if they've done very well over there, like, it's a different caliber of fish. It's not necessarily better; it's just different, you know. And the pace of the game, the physicality of the game, the sort of technique, the time you have on the ball, it's just very different. And so it takes, and also you're in a new country, new language, new culture, all that stuff. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of time. So I'd urge everybody to, like, stop looking for the reasons to criticize and to find the new villain. And, like, where's the benefit in doing that, by the way? Where is the upside to hating on players that play for our team if they're young? If they've been doing it for a while and they're getting paid a fortune and they're still not good enough and they've been here a long time and you just don't rate them, then fair enough. Like, I'm not saying they should be immune to criticism, but people making their minds up on 19 and 20-year-olds and saying, nah, he's shit, he's not good enough, get out of the club, we fucked up the club. That stuff seeps into the... I mean, imagine, like, do you remember when you were 18, 19? I do. I still feel the same. But, like, I was vulnerable then to, like, people's opinions of me. I'm less so now. But, like, if you're someone who's getting paid a lot of money, it doesn't mean that you're not normal, you're not human, and you don't read those things. And at those ages, your ego is probably very much inflated. And so if all you see online is people saying that the fans of the club that you play for have already made up their mind that you're not good enough, I think it's crazy. There's definitely good players in the players that we have. There's definitely far more than we're seeing from a few of them. But they're only 18, 19, 20 years old. Even Lucas Berghvall, right? He's had a brilliant season. But first half yesterday, he was poor. He was poor. If someone else put in the first half like he did, they would be like they'd be all over them like beans on toast, And I don't think that just because Berghvall gets away on because he's had a really good season thus far. Okay, so he's hit the ground running as a kid, and he's well above and ahead of the normal experience for 18-year-olds in the Premier League. So therefore, that's the standard. And anyone that doesn't follow that train of thought, anyone that doesn't do it as fast, as quickly, and as consistently as he is therefore ripe for throwing under the bus. I'm not on board it. So maybe not buy teenagers then. Well, but that's okay. So then what? We always have to go and buy 25-year-olds, 24-year-olds. That's not the way the game works. You need a mixture of the two, don't you? You need to have experience, but you need to be thinking about tomorrow. You need to find a way to not have to pay, 120 million pound for players. But by the way, you've seen the market and you've seen the amount of money that's in football. In 2 years' time, 70 million pound will probably get you, very mediocre players. They're all very good players, aren't they? Because they're Premier League standard. But I mean, it will get you a tier 3 player. A 100 million pound player will become, if not normal, then more normal, far more normal than it currently is in, than it currently is. Yeah. Fans are too quick to judge, says AJ. I agree, mate. I agree. Do Kudus, Romero, and Van der Ven get a break this midweek? Yeah. Which one would you? Kudus. So, I think you have to give minutes to Johnson. I think you have to give minutes to Tel or Odobert. I think you got to keep them fighting. I'd imagine, unless they're going to play Tel in the 9 again, and if they do, again, I'm not sure what we're doing here. The problem is, right, is that even if Mathys Tel scores a hat-trick against Doncaster, or Odobert puts one in top bins, how much is going to be taken from it? The people that don't like him are going to say it's just against League One opposition. It doesn't matter. Even the management might sit there and say, well, look, we have to put that in the context of the competition. Kudus does need a rest because he puts so much effort in, doesn't he? He puts so much effort in Bamboozle. Wouldn't mind seeing Tel and Odobert on the wings and Johnson as 9 on Wednesday. Now, there you go. I'd like to see that. Love to see that. Right? I'd like to see Brennan Johnson in the 9. In fact, I would actually like to see Brennan Johnson playing in a 2 at some point with a Richalison or someone, a Solanke. Be great to see what Solanke's like under Thomas Franks. We haven't really had a chance to see it yet, have we? Mawani 9 if fit. Yeah. It's good though. We've got options, haven't we, guys? We've got options, Cantab. We've got options, mate. And look at the back line as well. Dragusin is back soon, very soon. If not, he hasn't done a pre-season, obviously. So, I don't know if they would play him. Would they play? Can they play players like that in the under 21s to get them a couple of get them some minutes in their legs? Is that how it works, or do they just play in the or do they just do 11 versus 11 on the training ground? What are the rules? Does anyone know the rules on under 21 games? Whether you can play players that are 24, 25 in there? Don't know. Not sure. We've got another super chat, Sidley chat from Rika Johnson saying Sean seems to have moved to Brighton manager over Helga. He's a good-looking geezer, though. Fair play to him. Chiseled, superb head of hair. He looks like he should be playing. And he's a good manager as well. Is it Hertzler or something? Hertzler? What's his name? Look it up. Brighton manager. Hertzler. Fabian Hertzler. Yeah. Apparently he's got sleeves like a death metal fan or something. Yeah, you can, but it's limited. Pies for eyes. Big up to you. They can play 3 players, can they? You'd like to see Scarlett get some minutes. Scarlett. Bamboos was saying it as well. I genuinely would like to see Scarlett as the 9. Always steps up in the first team. That's an interesting take, Bamboos. But you know what, mate? I don't disagree. I don't actually disagree with you on that. I don't think he's ever put in a shit show, has he? He's always done okay. But then he goes away on loans to teams in like League One or the Championship and then doesn't get any minutes. I mean, his career, though, is really stumbling, isn't it? It's really stumbling. Because, what was it, 3 or 4 seasons ago now? He was the 17-year-old that scored 25 goals or whatever in the under 21s, and then disappears to on like 4 or 5 different loans and barely plays, barely scores. 2 or 3 failed loans, gets taken back. This time around, they didn't even bother sending him out on loan. I mean, where do you see him getting minutes, right? You've got, as a 9, you've got arguably Richalison, Solanke, Muwani, Tel, and Johnson, all of whom can play in the 9 ahead of him. So he's 6th choice to get 1 spot. He's not going to play this season, is he? Let's be honest. And if you're giving him minutes, Bamboozle, I don't disagree, by the way. I don't disagree that he has stepped up. When he's played, scored a goal in the game again in the Europa League. Wasn't it? Who was that against? I forget the team now. Last season, when the 3 kids all smashed it to win us 3-0 and secure our spot. You know, that was the first goal as well. That was the important one. So, and he's done it before as well. I think he did a flick on, didn't he? He did a flick on. Was it against? I forget who it was. Was it against West Ham or someone? He did a flick on towards Rich. I can't remember. This is what happens when you drink so much. You can call him Daddy. Yeah, mein Vater. Afternoon, Kate Rixham. Good to see you. Quick Google says average players can play. Says yes, average. Oh, overage. Overage for average players. Well, let's not call them average. I mean, drag us into decent player. Overage players can play in the Premier League too. Oh, fair enough. Okay, so they can use it as a format to get themselves fresh. Yeah, I think that would be good. I'd like to see Kota Takai. I certainly watch the under 20. I mean, I watch the under 21s when I know that they're on anyway. There's a wonderful Twitter handle, by the way. There's a Twitter handle that shows all the Spurs play games without getting copywritten, so you haven't got to spend your 50 quid or whatever. I'll see if I can find it for you later. Well, we have to make the first half count. I thought we were set. The setup wasn't good. Xavi was the game changer. Yeah, Xavi was sensational, Stephen, when he came on, and that's why you need him in the 10. But it does make it problematic. And if you're Thomas Frank, you do have to keep players happy. And how do you keep Bentancur? I mean, Archie Gray got on the pitch yesterday, right? And I didn't think he did badly, by the way. I thought he did okay for the last sort of 10 minutes or however much time he got. He does look like Harvey Specter, yeah. 100%. Loans are shit. Scarlett was loaned out too young, says Rain. Elfsborg. Well done, boys. Well done, boys. Elfsborg. Sean needs to go to Specsavers. What have I done now? Is that with the overage average thing? It's a different the O and the A. Come on now, Darren. Being hungover and watching your videos really helps a lot. Thank you, mate. Is that because like there's company? Like it makes you feel better because you can see that I'm always hungover to some degree. Appreciate you, Dylan. Appreciate you, mate. Need to play Williams Barnett on Wednesday. Oh, come on now, Abid. What are we doing? Here's another one. How many goals he scored? Let's have a look, see. I'll tell you what, my man, Dylan. Little hair of the dog, Bo. Little hair of the dog. Ah, ta-ta-ta. You know what I mean? Someone put on some music. Let's just jam. Let's find out how many. What's his name? Barnett Williams. Luca Williams Barnett, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. Luca Williams Barnett this season has got 4 goals and 2 assists in 4 games. I'll get him up on the Y Scout. It would probably look ridiculous on the Y Scout. Let's have a look at his stats. Share this tab instead. Bish bash bosh. Bang. 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 What are we doing here? So this season, he's already got 6 games, 6 goals, and 4 assists in the UA across 512 minutes. That is a G or an A every 51 minutes. Simple math. That's not bad, is it? How did he do last year? Who's joined? Who's come on to say hello? Oh, look who it is! It's Summer.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm all right, mate. I was just digging into a grab bag of skips. How exciting!
Are skips your go-to snack, or is it just like you had a little craving for a skippy-the-roo?
Yeah, just had a craving. You know, they just melt in the mouth, don't they? There's no mess, there's no crunch. So yeah, I'm living my best life over here.
I've got to wonder. I've got to wonder what it is that that they're made of that they melt in the mouth in a way that other things don't. You know.
Yeah, I won't read you the ingredients. There's far too many ingredients that should go into a crisp. Yeah. However, don't worry, I'm getting skinnier by the day, so we're all right. We're all right.
Nice. I wish I was on your diet, mate. Just talking about Luca Williams-Barnett here, mate. Last season, he got 32 GA in 23 games. So 19 goals and 9 assists in the under-18s, right? And then this year so far, he is on in the Premier League in the under-21s, 6 GA from 4, but he also got a goal and an assist in the UEFA Youth League. I think that was against Villarreal, and the EFL Trophy. He's got a G and an A as well. So he's clearly stepping up, but people are suggesting that he should be playing in the first team against Doncaster. Are we sort of rolling our eyes a little bit at that one? Is too soon, isn't it?
Oh, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because do you know what? I don't want to go. I don't want to be all Lubo, because you know, like Lubo loves every single young footballer in the world and thinks they're all going to be Maradona. He is the one that I've seen where I do go, yeah, that's my biggest hope. Like, I've seen Don Lee. I've seen Don Lee, seen Moore, seen all these. Williams-Barnett, whenever I watched the game last week against Villarreal, by the way, it was on Spurs Play. And he's a very, very talented lad. He really is very mature for his age.
But is he a boy? Is he a boy though?
Do you know what? He's actually got some good physicality to him. But is he ready to play against Dog? Listen, look, what's the harm on having him on the bench? I would say, we're at home, right? Get a couple of goals up and say, right, go on then. There's 30 minutes. There's 30 minutes. Let's see how you do against the League 2 side. Are they League 2?
They're League 1. League 1 Doncaster, aren't they? League One.
So yeah, look, he's definitely talented. He's very talented. But my worry is this, Sean. It's almost, if he comes in and does too well.
You're dropping Xavi for Williams-Barnett, are we?
Right. You'll have people, you see it all the time, don't you? You see it all the time. People going, I'll tell you what I'd do. I'd have Williams-Barnett starting against PSG away, So I don't know, but yeah, I don't know if you've seen him. He's very talented, very, very talented. And he's playing 2 years up already.
Well, 5 years up, really.
Yeah, I suppose if you look at it like that. But you've got to be really careful with young players like that, because fans get a little bit too excited, and you've got to manage them properly. But Frank will know that, right? He's not an idiot. He'll know how to manage him. But why not? Why not get him in the squad and say there's 20 minutes, there's half an hour? But yeah, I like him. Good young player. Good.
We're talking earlier about, you mentioned Thomas Frank, right? I was saying at the start of the show, like, I feel like he could be the great unifier, because I feel like everything he says, it seems entirely reasonable. It seems entirely honest and sincere. And he almost takes the words out of my mouth. I'm sure he does the same for you. Like you see his post-match comments and you're like, well, I feel this way. I'm like, damn it. I haven't had a chance to give my take yet. And now I'm just going to sound like I'm regurgitating.
Yeah. You've said what I'm thinking. Stop it. Yeah. Give me a Postecoglou soundbite that I can rip into. Yeah.
Exactly.
Give me something which I know. Shut
Yeah.
up, Thomas. Shut
Yeah,
up.
yeah. At least wait until I've done my post-match show so I can say he's copying me, you know. But instead, he says everything that you want to say and more. He says all the things that you hadn't thought of as well.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Do you know the thing is, for ages, when people like me have said, I'd love a coach, I think that people automatically just assume that what that means you're getting is somebody that works on the pitch with the players, and of course that is the underlying objective of a coach. But what you get from him is you get a coach's breakdown on the game. He's not afraid to say, "Hey, I really liked this. Didn't like that. I did not like that at all. We need to work on that." But he's never dramatic with it. He's never overly emotional. He actually says, "We'll go back. We'll work on that. I like this, and we'll change that." And when he talks, I listen. I tuned out for the last manager. I tuned out. Like, it was like, I'm not going to find anything out from you. So
because for him, it was just an ego. It was a game for Postecoglou. It was just a mission to protect himself from obvious errors, right? Whereas, I mean, listen, it might all change when Thomas Frank, when we go for a bad run, it might all change. He might end up start saying things. It's obviously easy to be so positive and respectful when everything seems to be going in the right direction. But I just even love the way that he dealt with the Vicario thing. I was taught by my manager at Google back when I was first went to Australia. I was told when you're going to criticize someone in a review, you start with a compliment or start with a praise, then you give then you give the body of your work, which might be critical, but then you finish with a compliment. And I'd never thought of it that way. Put it into play, and it worked, right? Like you give someone a reason to be up, like just think that you're not that mad. Then you go through the respectful criticism and critique, and then you end up with something to leave them feeling good as they walk out the door.
A shit sandwich.
He said a shit sandwich, 100%, right?
Yeah.
And I think Thomas Frank said that about Vicario. Like before he said it was a mistake, he said he's been great all year, you know, and he said, but it happened, so it's not the end of the world. So he was honest and said it was a mistake from Vicario, but let's caveat that with he's been very good all season, and these things happen, so let's not let it dwell. But we went on to be better in the second half. So all those things I just think are really, really impressive and positive signs to keep a unified team and a unified fan base.
But this is why I never quite understood when people are saying, "Oh, Thomas Frank said this about this player, which means he's going to play every minute and he loves him." Like if he says something nice about Archie Gray and he says something nice about Tel, people go, "Oh, this manager, he loves these poor players." You know, no. He understands that they're his players. He understands that the way you get the best out of people, even if you don't think they're 100% amazing, is you put confidence into them. You can't just be going out and throwing people under the bus at every opportunity. We can, as fans, as YouTubers, whatever, we can throw anyone we want under a bus. We can say, "Oh, I don't rate him." The manager's not going to come out and go, "Yeah, Vicario was dreadful." And by the way, I thought he was poor yesterday, but he's not going to come out and go, "Yeah, Vic was poor. He's dropped for the next game." Like it's, I really like this manager. I do. I really like this manager. This is why I wanted him. And can I just say, Sean, I just said it on a video that I've done. I sound like Mr. Box Office now. I just said it on Mr. Box Office TV. On a video. I just said that everything we're seeing at the moment, I expect that we would see. I expected to see this. The ups and downs in performances, expect to see that. New manager, new players, new philosophy being implemented. Different players being trialed on that left wing. I expected to see that because he hasn't got the guy he wanted. Hard to beat. I expected to see that. Well organised. I expected to see it. So I don't think that anybody at all, if they've actually done their homework on Thomas Frank, should be. I don't think we should be surprised by anything we're seeing, if I'm honest.
No, it's not. I agree. And that Rome wasn't built in a day, but to be going through the process, and clearly the early days were focused on being more defensively rigid and resilient and structured and organised, and also taking advantage of set pieces. Those things are like the areas where you can get micro improvements in output, and then after that, you hope that you're going to be able, once you get the players that you want as well, then you're going to be able to kind of to work in those relationships and be more creative and all that stuff. But You can't expect it all in 5 games. But if you can get through the first 5 games with one poor performance against Manchester City and sort of moments of poor, against Brighton, like that breakaway goal was poor, and Berghvall made the initial mistake for Vicario's mistake afterwards. Moments of those things, and you're going to get punished in those moments. But to not let your heads drop. And I think again, he's hit the nail on the head when he said mentality, physicality, and resilience. Like those are the things that you want to see, and I think he's going to have the words in the right order to be able to get people on side. And I also think that he's right. Like someone said a minute ago, glad you're not the manager, Sean. So am I, by the way, bro. I don't know anything about football. I've never kicked the ball in my life, my man. So I just know what I watched the game and I have my thoughts, but I don't know how to. I wouldn't know how to manage a team. Got no idea. But I think Vicario is a problem. Sorry, Sam. What's that?
If you did say that he was shit, I mean, I don't know the context of this, but if you did say he was shit yesterday, then I don't think you have to be a manager to see that he was poor yesterday. I thought, again, you know my thoughts on Vicario.
I think he doesn't give me confidence. I feel nervous whenever he gets the ball.
The word I've used for him, and this has not changed for 2 years, he's a decent keeper. No more, no less. He's decent. I don't look at him and go, oh my God, you're the worst. I never look at him and go, I feel 100% comfortable. He does some very nice things, but for me, he's shaky. For me, there was a shot that fired into him yesterday before the mistake, where he lost the flight of it again, and it hit him and went away. And then
100%. He smashed him in the chest, didn't it? Just bounced off him.
I mean, there's levels. He's decent. By the way, you know all my thoughts because of our WhatsApp group. But on my list of things that we need, I think a goalkeeper's down the list. But I do think that if you want to, not now, not immediately, not September, in years to come, I think if you do want to mix it with the big boys, I think then that is an area where you go, right, we need a better keeper. But right now, he will do, right?
Yeah,
I don't
100%.
think that's harsh.
Well, when was the last time? Can you 2 questions for you? One is, can you name me a team that won the Premier League or the Champions League, like the top European competition, or the Premier League that had a poor keeper? Because I can't think every team that's won the Premier League has had a very good keeper. And
that's a great question.
I mean, you go back to United. Schmeichel was one of the best players. I mean, unbelievable, right?
Van der Sar,
100%. Edison, Alisson.
Even Schmeichel, when he was at Leicester, was a top goalkeeper.
Yeah, Kasper Schmeichel, another great goalkeeper. I mean, he's a fantastic goalkeeper.
Yeah. And then when you look at the Champions League winners for the last few years, you've had
PSG, Donnarumma.
You had Donnarumma for PSG. You had Edison for Man City. Who won it in between that? Real Madrid have got Courtois, and they win it most years. Barcelona always had, when they were winning it, they had Victor Valdez in goal. You're right. You don't
it's understated but crucial position in the. It's the most. If you're honest, like if a mistake happens from a goalkeeper, it usually leads to a goal. A striker can miss 10 shots in a game and then score the 11th and win it 1-0, and he's man of the match, right? If the goalkeeper makes one mistake, and they lose 1-0, he's the villain. So you need, Aston Villa. I mean, I was going to ask you, the second question was, and Kate started a good example here. The next question was, is there a team in the Premier League that's probably lower in the pecking order than Tottenham that have a goalkeeper that would settle your nerves, that you'd take all day, every day? Like, would you take Kelleher from Brentford? Would you take Martinez from Villa? Would you take Villa might be on a momentary lapse, or maybe they're just falling back down to earth. I don't know. Your team, your club. Yeah.
My Aston Villa. I love it. You've waited for the first time in 3 years they've been crap to go, your boys, they're terrible.
Oh yeah. Next time we have a debate on whatever the topic is on your channel, I'm going to be moving the goalpost towards Aston Villa at the first opportunity.
Don't worry, my Aston Villa will win 4-0 today at Sunderland. Look, it's an interesting one. I want to see Kelleher. I want to see Kelleher for a full season. I want to, as the number one. I like Sells from Forest. I think that's a good shout. He is a very good goalkeeper, Sells. Martinez is an interesting one, right? He's a bit of a character, Martinez. He's a very good goalkeeper. Has moments. He does have moments, but I feel like this is a guy that organises his back four better. He commands his box better than Vicario. Other than that, who am I looking at in the Premier League? I mean, who's in goal for anyone? Verbruggen's okay at Brighton. I don't think he's anything special.
I wouldn't say Verbruggen necessarily. Wouldn't take Fulham's keeper. Wouldn't take any of the three teams that have come up. I wouldn't take Newcastle. I mean, Pope. Would you take Pope? I wouldn't probably. I think.
I like Pope, but I don't know if he's. Oh God, I can't believe I'm going to say that. I don't know if he's modern enough. He's a good goalkeeper, but I don't know if you're jumping out of the out of the pan into the fire or whatever that saying is. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah.
All I know is. Someone said there like Mike Mannion, someone like that. All I know is, and Lubo's going to hate this. Old Jonathan Lubin there. He's going to hate
why
this.
Jonathan Lubin? Sorry, why Jonathan?
Let me change it off because he came on my stream once and came on YouTube.
Oh, it's your son.
And that was my son. I'll come back in. I'll put the
just change the name.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's no problem, mate.
You're now going to be called Jonathan by everyone for ages, just so you know.
Johnny. Lubo Jr.
Lubo won't like this, but I do think that as we get better, we need better than Vicario. I think he's decent. As I said, no more, no less. But more and more I watch him, I feel unsettled by him being our goalkeeper. Doesn't mean he won't have great games. Doesn't mean he doesn't do anything well. I just don't think he's at that level. I genuinely don't. That's just me. Well, it's not just me. You think
morning, afternoon, guys. Afternoon. Let me ask you.
Just if you wanted to, mate. I don't know if you text me. I have just sent you your that StreamYard and your email if it's easier for you, but being on the phone. But you're fine as you are. But if you want to stay,
come on. I shall come on the computer. Okay.
All right, matey.
Oh, come on. Okay.
Yes, I mean, look, guys in the chat, a couple of super chilly chats. Please do smash the like button and hit the subscribe. I'm going to give you two options, by the way, because at 1 o'clock, I'm going over to do Football Inc. with Johnny, but I know Sava's also doing his show. So,
I'm not.
Oh, you pushed it back.
If you haven't read the chat, Sean, out of respect for Football Inc., I changed my show to a video which is going live at 1:45. So, and that's redirecting to your show. What a guy I am.
Oh, what a guy. You haven't got to do that, mate. You haven't got to do that. You know, don't want to monopolise.
Monopoly, innit, mate? Monopoly.
Yeah, that's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing. Yeah. Appreciate you, Ulrika Johnson. Ulrika. She's got out of the shower. She's poured herself a G&T. I love Scarlett. Loans are shit. Give him a chance. I'm going to come back to Sabra on that in just a second because the chat has been a little bit about the kind of loan situation, about the youth team at the moment. We're going to find out what people think about Dane Scarlett. Appreciate you, Ulrika. And she's come back in with another one saying, holy shit, Vicario is the best shot stopper. He makes one mistake and suddenly Sean follows Sav a negative line. What are we doing here? Actually, my miss, my mate, my man, I'm not sure who you are. I've got a feeling you are probably a geezer. But I'll always respect the icon, Ulrika. I listen, I'm not following, there's no negative line of Sav either, by the way. It's just opinions. But I personally have never really rated what's his name, Vicario. I think he's poor with his feet. I think he's a little bit nervy, and I think the best parts of his game are when he doesn't have time to think about it. Like instinct, like a lot of goalkeeping is on instinct. Obviously, you just got to, like cat reflexes and things, and he's phenomenal at that stuff. But when there's a shot from deep, from distance, against Villarreal, Pepe had 4 shots that all fizzled wide of the post. And if you go back and watch them, and if any one of them are on target, they are going in. They are going in. That free kick that went wide from right on the edge of the area, and it was difficult enough to get it up and over the wall. He sent it a couple of feet wide, but Vicario dived for that. And if the ball's in the top bins, which is the only way it was ever going to go in, because in order to get it up over the wall from that distance and get it down, it's only ever going to be just inside the top, underneath the bar. The Vicario was like, he was diving 3 foot. There was 3 foot of space above him. So I'm sorry, Ulrika, I love you to pieces. But it's not one mistake from Vicario. It's just my general take on him. I think that the more time he has, the worse he is, personally. Lubo, I'll let you go on Vicario, and then I want to come back to this question about Scarlett.
Before I do, Sean, can I just, you talk about like the postage stamp shots that goes right in the corner. Did either of you see Alfie Devine's goal yesterday?
Yeah, unbelievable.
What a strike.
I've not seen it.
Unbelievable. And the only thing better than his strike was the knee slide. That knee slide went on for about 9 seconds. Have you seen? Do you remember that advert a couple of years ago where someone does it was an advert for what I think it was a betting advert, and the guy scores a goal and does a knee slide. He just carries on around the stadium knee sliding. That was almost Alfie Devine's shot, but that knee slide was insane.
I mean, that was a serious strike, wasn't it? I mean,
unbelievable. Are you still on the Alfie Devine train? Are you, Lubo?
I honestly don't know. Devine's a strange one, because when he came years ago, it was like going to be absolutely superb, and his career's hasn't really taken off, has it? But I think there's something there. Whether there's enough there for Spurs, I don't know. But Preston,
what standard is he playing at right now? Is he at League One or is he Championship?
Championship.
Yeah. Against Derby, wasn't it? Against Derby.
They're 6th or 7th, I think, Preston now. So. They're up there.
It'll be interesting. Maybe he could be someone that people have forgotten about, and that maybe he'll come back and do all right, because a lot of the other players that people have bigged up and thought were going to materialise haven't really had their minutes yet this season, have they?
Yeah, no, they haven't. Vicario, listen, I was literally right in line. It was literally diagonally right in line with the shots, and I think he took a step to the right, which was a mistake initially, and the ball swerved at the last minute, and he just couldn't get. He moved.
It's a weak hand, though. He got his fingertips to it, but it was a weak finger, wasn't it?
He did. And you don't normally see Vicario just get fingertips to a shot. But as I say, he put his weight onto his right foot, which was a rick, and the ball swerved. I mean, it was a fabulous shot. And I've got to tell you, it's like hit the net like a rocket. It really did.
Ayari looks like a real player as well from Sweden.
Yeah.
Like a real player.
Listen, I'm in terms of Vicario, we have very rarely seen that in just over 2 seasons, for him to give away a goal like that. He had 2 bad games last year, one after another, Wolves and Forest. But by and large, listen, I'm old school. For me, a goalkeeper's there to stop the shot. We got 10 players who win games with their feet. We need a goalkeeper. He's the only player in the team that can use his hands. That, for me, is the most important part of goalkeeping. We can all talk about being Lionel Messi with our feet. I mean, you can be Kinsky, who's great with his feet, but can't stop a shot. So, for me, he's still... And Sav, if we can't get these top players in other positions because of the pecking order, why is Tottenham going to get a Mike Mannion or a Donnarumma, who's now gone to Man City, these top keepers? Why would we get a top elite keeper?
We're not getting Donnarumma. I don't think we are, but this is where it goes down to scouting, isn't it? This is where there's goalkeepers all over the world, mate. There's how many football leagues across Europe? There are quality goalkeepers everywhere. Listen, I think first of all, I want to retort, if that's okay, Sean, to that super chat about me. First and foremost, I do find it funny that whenever somebody has a difference of opinion, why is it negative? So why is it because I don't think Vicario's as good as this person does that it's negative, right? Second of all, this isn't one mistake. I hear this all the time. Like if I'm going to criticize, let's say I criticize Richie for something, people go, oh, it's one game. It's not that. I've said the same thing for years about these players. It's not one mistake. Yes, he's a good shot stopper. Yesterday, he wasn't a good shot stopper in any of the shots he faced. As I said, he's decent. I don't think he's rubbish, but he is, for me, again, if you want to be successful, we just said it, Sean, the top clubs for me do not have these types of goalkeepers. He's decent.
Top clubs have always got a world-class goalkeeper.
He's decent. And look at Chelsea. Look at Chelsea right now. What's the biggest criticism from the Chelsea fans on their team?
Yeah,
right?
Keeper, yeah.
Why haven't we got a top goalkeeper? Man United, why haven't we got a top goalkeeper, right? What have City got? Top goalkeeper. Arsenal, whatever we say about Raya does a very good job, right?
What's he like? What's he like out of interest? United's keeper, any good? The boy,
the new one?
I don't. Yeah. I genuinely don't know him.
Semi Lemons I'd never heard of him, and then I looked him up on Y Scout and went through his best bits on Y Scout, and the best bits looked like the everything reel. There were some absolute clangers in there, and I was like, "This guy isn't the solution." But I don't know him, so I'm looking at the Y Scout. And Y Scout obviously it's just moments, right? So you don't. But with a goalkeeper, what I would say is, like, if you're looking on the Y Scout for a striker and you're filtering out players or whatever, you're filtering by goals, and you see there's some 19-year-old in Mexico or whatever that scored 45 goals, and then you go, well, don't know what the standard of the Mexican league is or whatever else. So that's important. I don't think it's as important for a goalkeeper. Like, I think that a goalkeeper faces like ridiculous shots at any standard. I don't necessarily think it's still important because there's not going to be the structure and the setup in like League Two. But if there's a 19-year-old in League Two and you go and check him out, and in the last 6 or 7 games, he's kept out some absolute worldies, fingertips to the top, off the top bins and just, point blank saves, and he gets his hand to it. That shit can happen at any stand. That shit can happen at under 10s on a Saturday morning on Hackney Marshes. I think a goalkeeper, the standard you're playing at is less important as a consideration than it is if you're a goal scorer or if you've got brilliant take-on specialists or whatever else, because those are dictated by the players around you. But a shot is a shot, in my opinion. If you can keep it out and the goal is the same size, then it's impressive.
With goalkeepers, it's always said, though, isn't it? The reason why the top goalkeepers are the best goalkeepers is they have the least to do. So they're not judged. Like when Lubo's judging by shot stopping, the best goalkeepers aren't judged by shot stopping. The best goalkeepers are judged by those moments when they're called upon in a game. So if you watched the Manchester derby last week, Donnarumma's called into action a few times, but what he does is brilliant, right? Yeah. For the rest of the game, he's sitting there like a statue, right? And that's the difference for me. Sure. That's why loads of keepers from relegated clubs are always raved about. God, this goalkeeper at Sheffield United, for example, got the most saves in the Premier League. Well, of course, because they faced the most shots. So you know what I mean? So listen, I'm not saying he has to go. I'm not saying that. People in the chat now saying, you want Kinsky? I've not mentioned Kinsky. I just think...
No, he terrifies me even more, to be entirely honest.
Yeah, I mean, again, you need to... Again, I need to see Kinsky, but this isn't a Kinsky versus Vicario thing. This is a... No. You've got to, I just think that in the future, not now.
Where is he? Where is a new, like, you can always improve in every position. Where is the goalkeeper in the priority list? And stick it in the chat as well. Stick a number in the chat. Fourth in the priority list. Goalkeeper is fourth in the priority list. Lubo, where is he for you?
If you could get somebody of the quality, in my top 3 are Jennings, Clements, and Lloris, who I think are much better than Vicario.
What the Viking?
Sorry?
Espen Baardsen or Eric Thorson?
No, I saw most of his matches. He was good, but no. Yeah. Sorry, mate.
The Viking.
We'll have to agree to disagree.
Shorts on and everything, Lubo.
Paul Robinson.
It was a good song. We love Eric the Viking. That's where it started. But listen,
where's on the list for you, Sava? Where's he on the list for you? Where's the goalkeeper improvement on the list of priorities?
For me, probably 4th, 5th, 6th. For me, it's not at the moment. It's not nowhere near the top. I think we've got to get the front line sorted. At last, we saw Simmons in the 10 yesterday, so keep him there. We also need an understudy for him in the 10 because God forbid he gets injured next week. We're back.
Is that Luca Williams-Barnett, Lubo?
I think he needs a bit more time. But
people have been asking. People have been saying in the chat, bring him in for Doncaster.
I could see him being on the bench for Doncaster.
Really? Okay.
I could see that. I could see him give.
16 years old. What are we doing here? Come on.
But you know what, Sean? If a player is that good, and he's meant to be the pick of all the academy kids. Better than Moore, better than Donnelly, better than all of them.
Academy kids. Wasn't Mike? Everyone told me Mikey Moore was the pick.
Yeah.
Everyone told me Donnelly was the pick. They can't get into their own teams.
But you know what, Sean? It's like records. Records are there to be broken. Someone comes along You know, you had in the 80s Ben Johnson before the drugs. All of a sudden, you moved on the 20 years. You had Usain Bolt's the fastest. Players come through, and players are better than others. You know, so it's always an evolving situation, isn't it? More was the cream of the academy.
Yeah.
And now it's Williams Barnett. So, but
maybe that June I built. He's supposed to be excellent.
Another one. I mean, I saw him at Watford last year in the Youth Cup. We lost 4-0. We were down to 9 men just after half time because of 2 silly sendings offs. And you know, it was difficult to actually judge a player when you're in a team with 9 men. But he looked very good. I'd like to see him on the bench as well on Wednesday. Why not? You know, it's a perfect opportunity. We're not going to get many other opportunities to play a team like Doncaster, are we, this season? So
no.
You know, use it. It could be the only one. So you know, just give him a taste. Give the 2 of them a taste of it. That's it. You know, the way that Arteta gave Nweri a taste at Brentford when he was 15.
The 2 they reckon, and the 2 that have stood out for me when I've watched the youth team has been Thompson,
yes,
and Williams Barnett. But again, it's so difficult, right? They are babies. They really are babies. But I always say, don't I, Lubo? The first thing I do is I look at a player's feet, and Williams Barnett's feet he's got great footwork. He's got really, really good technical ability with the ball. So I've got no doubt he will make it as a pro. I just, as Sean and I said earlier, what we don't want is those Lubo-esque fans out there to start telling everyone that he's the greatest player in the world and Spurs should call him the new Paul Scholes immediately. You know what I mean? But
sorry,
by
guys,
the way,
just 1 second, just for quick. Pat Foley, frankly, Tottenham. Yeah, of course I remember him. I'm so sorry to hear that. That's so sad, mate. That's really sad, dude. I'm so sorry. I didn't know he was unwell. I hope you're okay, mate. Shit, man. That was only a couple of weeks ago. We had a great time with him on the show. A couple of months ago, we had a great time with him on a fan phony show. He was brilliant. Everyone was having mate. I was really cut me up. I'm so sorry to hear that, Pat. Best wishes, mate, to his family, to you, to your family. Really, love chatting with him, mate. He was funny. I remember he kept calling Thomas Frank Thomas, and there was a guy, James from Spurs related. One of his partners on his channel was called Frank Thomas. So I'm so sorry, man. That's really sad news this morning, man. I hope you guys are okay, and my best wishes to you guys. Best wishes, mate. Sad. Sorry to hear that. Wow. Yeah. Jeez.
It always brings things into perspective, doesn't it? It's only a game at the end of the day.
He was a young guy as well. He can only been in his 40s.
Yeah, he's saying it was a brain tumor and was quite sudden. Is what Pat said. So,
oh wow.
Yeah, sorry to hear that.
Sorry to hear that.
Put everything in perspective, doesn't it? Whenever it does, really does. But
absolutely.
At the risk of moving it back to football, sorry.
I
know it's always an awkward transition, isn't it? It's always
I know.
Just for me, by the way, I think it's left winger. You guys know my feeling. It's left winger, followed by a striker. I think we need a striker of real quality, and then for me, I think it's a ball playing 8. I've said this for a long time, and then I think it's the goalkeeper for me. I know a lot of people are saying left back. I get it. I think we'll be okay there because of the cover we've got. The other positions, I think, for me are more important. Not all at once. Not saying we're going to buy all that in January, by the way. Just what I think we need.
We've got to do something in January, though. We've got to do something on that left wing spot. And let me ask you, where would you guys want to, like right now, if you had, let's say, £100 million budget in January, right? Would you go after 2?
Yeah.
Or would you go after 1 that was top draw? Like, would you go and drop £100 million on Semenyo, for example, or 90 million quid on Semenyo? For me, like Savio's good player, very good player, but I want that strength, that virility, that pace, that power, like what Kudus offers. And I've got to come to Kudus. We've got 10 minutes left. I've got to come to, because I saw Michelle a little while ago saying that Kudus doesn't, she's unimpressed. I do want to cover that in a second, but just to finish off this particular topic, if you did have 100 million quid in January, if the owners, the majority owners came in and put in 100 million quid, and we could go and get something done in January. Lube, I'll start with you, mate. Would you rather go and get, like, if Thomas Frank still thinks it's Savio? I don't want to waste any more time on Man City, to be honest, but would you go and drop 80 on him, 90 on him, or would you go and get something done in like a £50 million vision, and then also go and get someone else who's better in the 9? Because we haven't spoken about Richarlison, but for me, Richie again yesterday, just back to his old self, back to his old frustrating self a little bit. You know, I know he scored the goal, but that papered over the cracks of a poor effort.
He was better, but you're right, he's not the answer. What would he do? We got Kolo Muani. Get his fitness up to speed. Yeah. He could be that centre forward, couldn't he? Which, we're talking. If you're talking January, I'd much rather spend what needs to be spent on the 11, because that's the key. That was just interesting. Listening, Danny Murphy thinks we've got a good squad, and we've got a squad that's good enough to be challenging for top 4.
Yeah,
interesting.
Would you go? Who would be your number one choice? Would it be? I think if I'm looking at all of them,
would be Semenyo.
Semenyo, right? Semenyo for me is like twice the player of anybody else that's available. Don't get me wrong, Malik Fofana, cracking talent, but he's also quite lightweight. He's also quite, he's nippy and nimble and all that sort of thing. But I'm just not sure. I want someone that does a little bit what Kudus does, but I want it on the left. Like if you could template that thing, and then copy and paste it on the left-hand side of the pitch, you have a good time.
Absolutely.
I take him, and that's Semenyo like that, isn't it?
Yeah, and you look. I mean, you take Semenyo's second goal at Anfield, first game of the season.
Yeah, unbelievable.
He picked up the ball on the edge of the box and finished up and just rifled it, didn't he? Past the keeper. It was a phenomenal goal, and that's the sort of goal Sonny got occasionally, wasn't it?
Yeah,
yeah. Again, isn't it funny how hearts and minds change? Not you guys, but I remember at the beginning of the summer saying, I'd love Semenyo when we were linked to him. Yeah. Loads of Spurs fans in a poll I did saying, not good enough for Spurs. I think there's good options. Like you said there, Sean. I mean, listen, if Spurs this January went out and bought Fofana, Semenyo, Savio, Lookman, I'm all for it. All I know is it's just a glaring hole at the moment, and Thomas Frank's doing well to plug it. As you said earlier on the WhatsApp group, Lube, I was as annoyed as I am about the left wing area. We've lost one game this season, but a lot does fall down on the left, and what it does do, and let me know when we can talk about Kudus, Sean. Let me know when we can talk about.
We'll talk about him right now. We've got 7 minutes before we got to go. So Michelle Lawrence, big up to you. It was funny because Sava put in a chat in the WhatsApp group saying, and I'm told that Kudus, I think he started with saying Kudus another 2 assists, right, 4 assists this season, and I'm told that he's unimpressive or he's disappointing. And my response was, who the F has said that? And he goes, there's people, and I went, I haven't seen anyone say that, Sava. Are you just inventing things? And he's like, no, there's people out there that don't rate. And Michelle, I'm not calling you out. Well, I am calling you out because you said it, but like in a nice way, respectfully. I saw I think it was 12:37. Let me see if I can zoom back and find it. I've got it right here. 12:37.
It's
unpopular opinion. I am not impressed with Kudus.
and then read her comment a few down, which is where I want to start. Read her comment a few down from that time.
Okay.
Right.
A few down.
And I like
end product lacking.
Right.
I did say unpopular. She did say an unpopular opinion, so she does recognise that it's unpopular.
Sure, but there can be unpopular opinions and wrong opinions, right? This is the thing, right? Now, first and foremost, right? When we're talking about Kudus being underwhelming, I see this every game. People going end product. Do we realise that Mohamed Kudus leads the Premier League assist stats this season? I don't know if anyone knows that. Right, Mohamed Kudus.
He's got 4. He's got 4 assists,
and
right?
So was Jack Grealish, the other player I wanted, right? So 4 assists in 5 games from a winger. I'm not saying it's going to happen. If you average that out over the season, right, 4 assists every 5 games, that's phenomenal, right? So let's not pretend he's got no end product. I'll tell you what, when you watch Kudus play, and I don't know if I think Lubo agrees with me. I'm not sure. We'll find out. When I watch Kudus play, he is head and shoulders better than the other forwards we've got. Like, you can see it a million miles off. His touch, his control, his strength, his balance, his work rate, his ability to beat a man. He's got 4 assists in 5 Premier League games. He carries the ball up the pitch. He gets us up there. He holds the ball up. I don't know how anyone is watching Kudus right now and going, "No, I'm underwhelmed." I think he's been our from an attacking.
He's everything for us, isn't he?
I think he's. I don't know what I genuinely don't know what they're watching, because even yesterday, his ability to beat his man is second to none. But what he does, if you look in all of our games, how many corners we have, I haven't got this stat to hand. I wonder how many of those corners are won by defenders having to get out a last-ditch tackle against Kudus to block a Kudus cross. This man is absolutely brilliant. I think he is brilliant.
Yesterday we had 32 crosses in 95 minutes and 10 corners to their 2 and 32 crosses to their 8. I mean, it was, it was nigh on brilliant domination. I think it was something like, where are we? 44 touches in their box to 17. Successful final third passes, 143 to their 55. So, it was a pretty dominating performance yesterday. And it was just a shame that we had to come from 2 goals down to get something from the game. But when you compare it to Brighton away last year, on October the 7th, I think it was, I mean, we were fantastic first half.
This is why, Lubo, this is why when we, before the season, or as the season was starting, and when Levy was still around and you were finding a way to make it all about Levy, you were talking about, like, look at the players we've got in, right? We've lost one, we replaced one. We've lost Maddison, we've replaced him with Polinia. We've lost Sonny, we've replaced him with Kudus. We're basically net no difference. And I was like, well, that's removing the context of the fact that the 6 that we have is far more consequential and important than what Maddison is. And Sonny was on decline.
It was on numbers, Sean. It was purely on numbers. It was purely on numbers.
Yeah, but it was a twisted logic to try to make the point that Levy still hasn't had a good summer. In reality, Kudus, what he has done in 5 games, in my opinion, is more terrorizing of a defender of defenses than what Sonny was offering last season and for the previous 18 months. And Polinia was filling a hole that was far bigger than any hole that Maddison's absence was going to present. Kudus has this ability to stand still. And I hear the argument. I think Rain said here, I don't think Michelle is 100% wrong. There's more to come from Kudus.
Of course.
I mean, if there's more to come from him, it's probably in output, like in shots on target. He doesn't really want to be the guy that seems to want to take players on and have a crack himself. And when he does, it's bounced off players. But his ability to stand still with the ball, and a fullback is looking at him standing still as well, and then he just turns and goes. I mean, he's got that standing acceleration, like an NFL trait. Like, that's what they do in NFL, isn't it? They kind of like how high can you jump from standstill? How quick can you run 20 meters or whatever it is from
it's over 5 yards, isn't it? So, which is key. 5 yards is key for a winger, isn't it? That sprint over 5, from 0 to whatever. And for me, it's funny because we were on the left side of the goal, so watching the game second half yesterday, the link ups between Kudus and Porro were excellent.
Yeah.
Really good.
Lubo, can I back onto that point though? I think what people have got to remember as well, this is Mohamed Kudus, by the way, who's played every game this season without a natural number 10 to bounce off to play off of, and without a proper centre forward that he can play 1-2s with and cross into. Like yesterday, the number of crosses that Kudus puts in, and I'm like, where is anyone? Like, why is no one getting on the end of these? So I think you get a top centre forward, you get Xavi Simmons straight away. What happened? Simmons came on. How many times did Simmons get the ball, switch it out to Kudus, and Kudus come inside? It was brilliant. Love to see it. I think he's a top player. He's a top player that had a poor year last year and a poor side.
Yeah. Right.
But I think for anyone that had watched him for Ajax or for West Ham the year before, you can't doubt this boy's ability. He is superb. His work rate as well, Luba. I think you might be impressed by that because obviously that was one of your concerns, I think, wasn't it? Was the attitude to work hard and track back.
Because of last year, correct. But he is back. Brilliant. He's back to the Kudus from 2 years and 3 years ago. And the interesting, I wanted him when he was at Ajax. Thought he was superb. and Ange was offered him and chose Johnson instead. So that's something to get your head round.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, guys, we got to jump. Michelle, you're taking the banter well. Listen, it's all just opinions anyway. Fair play to you, miss. But yeah, we've got to call these things. It's all conversations. And look, Saba will be back tonight at 7:30 on his channel. Saba, right? If I'm invited, I'll probably join. We will be back as a trio with Johnny and Stel tomorrow at 8 on the Spurs 5. It's going to be a good show. It's going to be a good show. And I'm going to be leaving you all here right now. I'm going to go stay where you are, put you right over to Football Inc., where Johnny and I are going to take on the Premier League Saturday review and obviously talk a lot about Tottenham as well. So I want to say a massive thank you as well to Dean Law, who's always here at some point in the show with his super sticker. Choo to you. Thank you, Ulrika. I see Ulrika saying, Ulrika, I don't want you to fall out of love with me, miss. You're my girl, right? But when you say things like, it's interesting to see, have I done the other super chat? Oh, I missed this one. Sorry. Vicario is a top keeper, makes one mistake and you guys wet the bed. Agree his distribution is poor, but I can't believe Lubo is being Sean conscious.
This isn't about one mistake, though. This is what I don't get. Lubo, since you've known me, haven't I said the same thing about Vicario, that I'm not convinced?
Yeah.
This
I
isn't
about you've been wrong every time, mate.
like
your talent ID. Anyway, we'll leave it there.
We'll leave it there. We'll pick that up tonight on the Spurs fight on the Spurs review on Sava's show. Appreciate you all. Appreciate you, Sava. Appreciate you, Lubo. Thank you, Ulrika Johnson. Listen, mate, don't be sitting there saying things in the comments like Lubo is more positive about Spurs than Sean is. That's not true. That's not true. Lubo's always 5 minutes away from a moan about the ownership. He just doesn't know which way to moan right now. He's lost his villain. That's all it is. Guys, we'll leave it there. I'll see you over on the Spurs. Sorry, go on, Lubo. Last words. Lubo, you were about to say something. You're about to say something. You want to say your last thing?
No, I'm very chilled at the moment, mate. Very chilled. Levy's gone. Very happy.
Appreciate you, Lubo. Appreciate you, Sava. Guys, we will see you over on the Football Link. Stay where you are. We'll go right over there right now. Take care. Thanks, everyone. And as always, bye-bye.
You Spurs.